Welcome to the Snagged Podcast. I'm Sarah Lizabeth, wedding mentor and educator. I created this podcast because after more than 20 years in the wedding industry and a lifetime of real life, I saw a gap that no checklist, timeline, or trend was filling. Planning a wedding is rarely about the wedding. It's about navigating expectations. It's about family dynamics, especially mothers and daughters. It's about learning how to make decisions together. It's about protecting your relationship while the pressure is loud. And it's about becoming someone new in the process. I've walked with couples through beautiful moments and really hard ones. I've watched joy and stress exist side by side, and I've lived enough life to know that the snags, the unexpected moments, the tension, the pauses are often where the most meaningful growth happens. This podcast exists to slow things down, to offer honest guidance around wedding planning, marriage, family, faith, and the season of life that shapes us. I'm not here to give you more advice. I'm here to mentor you through this season with clarity, compassion, and perspective. So let's step into today's episode together. Hey friends, today feels different because today isn't for the brides. It's for the mothers. And if you are the mother of the bride, I want to imagine that we are sitting together right now. No microphones, no script, just coffee or rosé or your favorite beverage and honesty. Because there is something that I need to say to you. And it's something I didn't fully understand for over 20 years. I have been serving brides for more than 2 decades. I built my career around them, their timelines, their flowers, their stress, their dreams. I have stood next to thousands of women on one of the most emotional days of their lives. I have wiped tears, pinned boutonnieres, rebustled dresses, smoothed over family tension. And if I'm being really honest, for most of my career, my focus was on the bride. She was the center. She was the priority. She was the one that hired me. And without even realizing it, my attention naturally revolved around her. That's what the industry does. Everything points to her. But the older I got, and being a mother to 3 daughters myself, I started watching women at my age sit in those front row seats. I started noticing the mothers standing quietly in the corner while everyone else fussed over the bride. I started seeing her face during the father-daughter dance. Oh, I started hearing the catch in her voice during the toast, and something in me shifted. Because suddenly I wasn't just seeing the bride's mom, I was seeing a woman in transition. A woman who had spent decades being the steady place, and now the ground felt different. I remember one wedding in particular. The bride was radiant, confident, so sure of herself, and her mom was beautiful, put together, smiling for everyone. But I caught her alone in the hallway just for a second, and she said quietly, "I didn't expect this to feel like this." She was not upset about the wedding. She wasn't mad that we may or may not have gone over budget a little. She wasn't frustrated with her daughter. She was just overwhelmed by the shift. And I realized in that moment, for 20 years, I had been protecting the brides from stress, but I never stopped long enough to protect the mothers from invisibility. And that changed me. When your daughter gets engaged, everyone celebrates her, and they should, but almost no one turns to you and says, "How are you doing with this?" Because culturally, this season is framed as pure joy for mothers. You raised her, you did your job, you should be proud, you should be glowing, And you probably are. But underneath that joy can be something else, a subtle grief, a disorientation, a question you can't quite name. Where do I fit in now? And I need you to hear me clearly. If you felt that, you're not dramatic, you're not selfish, you're not trying to control anything. You are transitioning. Becoming the mother of the bride isn't just a role, it's a transition, and one that most women are never taught how to walk through. You love your daughter deeply, you want to support her, and at the same time, you may feel emotional, uncertain, or unsure of where you fit in the season. And if that's you, I want you to know you're not doing anything wrong. That's why I created the Mother of the Bride virtual conversation. This isn't a wedding planning class, it's a guided conversation for mothers who want clarity, peace, and confidence as they walk beside their daughter without overstepping, withdrawing, or losing themselves in the process. We talk about expectations, boundaries, emotions, and how to show up with wisdom and grace for your daughter and for yourself. If you're navigating this season and wish someone would simply say, "You're not alone in this," I'd love to invite you to join us. You can learn more and register at theweddingmentor.co because this season matters, and so do you. Let's clear something up right now. Most mothers are not trying to control the wedding. They're trying to stay connected. That is a very different thing. When you offer an opinion, it's often not about the napkins. It's about wanting to still matter. When you ask questions, it's not about the guest list. It's about wanting to feel included. And when you get emotional, it's not about the seating chart. It's about the fact for decades you were her safe place. And now she's building a new one. That is healthy. That is right. And it can still sting. For years, motherhood was active. She needed you constantly. You knew her schedule, her friends, her fears, her favorite snacks. You were woven into her daily life. And then suddenly, motherhood becomes advisory, invited, consulted, occasional. And if your identity has been wrapped tightly around being needed, that shift feels like someone quietly pulling the rug out from underneath you. Not violent, just subtle. And because it's subtle, you feel like you shouldn't be struggling, but you are. And no one gives you language for that. Here's something I've learned walking with women in this season. Grief and joy can coexist. You can be thrilled for her and ache at the same time. You can adore her fiance and still miss the version of life where it was just the two of you figuring things out. You can be proud of the woman she's becoming and quietly grieve the little girl that she used to be. That doesn't make you unstable. It makes you layered. What breaks my heart is when mothers start shrinking, when they pull back too far, when they decide the safest thing to do is to disappear because they don't want to be labeled that mom, you know? So they go silent. They start swallowing their feelings. They pretend everything feels easy. And inside, they feel unsteady. I want better than that for you. You don't have to grip tighter, and you don't have to disappear. There is a middle space, a steady space. And this season is not removing you, it's redefining you. You are not losing your daughter, you are changing roles. And here's the part I wish someone had told more mothers years ago. Your influence doesn't end here. It matures, it deepens, it softens. You move from being her manager to being her anchor. And anchors don't panic. Anchors don't compete. Anchors stay steady when the water feels unfamiliar. As a mother of daughters myself, I think about this often. I am not just speaking to you, my friend. I'm speaking to myself. And I hope I remember that letting go and staying connected are not opposites. I hope I remember that my value is not tied to how often I am needed. And I hope I remember that love evolves. If you have found yourself crying in private, if you've questioned whether you're handling this well, if you've felt afraid of saying the wrong thing, if you've worried about being replaced, let me say this gently to you. You are not failing. You are feeling. And feelings deserve space, not shame. For 20 years, I taught brides how to plan a wedding. Now my heart has expanded because I see you. I see how deeply this season can impact your relationship if no one tends to it. When mothers feel steady, weddings feel steadier. When mothers feel secure, daughters feel freer. When mothers feel anchored, families stay connected. This isn't about napkins. It's about relationship. So today, if no one has asked you this, how are you doing? Really? If you need someone to say, you are not crazy, you are not overreacting, you are not alone, then let this be that moment. You have done a beautiful job raising her. And this next chapter, it isn't the end of your story with her. It's the beginning of a new one. And you are allowed to take a breath while you step into it. Thank you for sitting with me today. And to every mother listening, you still matter. You are still needed. And you are not navigating this alone. Thank you for spending time with me today. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to follow or subscribe to this podcast. It will help more people find these conversations. And if you know someone who's planning a wedding or navigating a meaningful season of life, feel free to share this episode with them. If you'd like continued guidance, you can explore theweddingmentor.co or join my love letters, which are weekly reflections on weddings, relationships, faith, and life. I'm Sarah Lizabeth. Be gentle to yourself. Be honest, and remember, meaningful things don't need to be hurried. I'll see you next time.